The Municipal Water Finance Authority and ask for a roll call.
Dean Fullahan.
Alan Andrews for Dean Fullahan.
Maxwell Holland.
Here.
Jason Sagos.
Robert Alburn for Commissioner Sagos.
Jacques Sheeha.
Jacqueline Gold for Jacques Sheeha.
Vincent Sapienza.
Joseph Murin for Commissioner Sapienza.
Great. First order of business, we need a motion and a second for approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 21.
So moved. Second.
Great. The minutes have been circulated. Anyone find anything we should change? If not, any objections? Because if not, the motion is adopted, the resolution is adopted. So, item number 2 is a resolution recommending to the Board of Directors the approval of supplemental resolution number 125, authorizing the issuance of fiscal 2017 Series 3 Water and Sewer System Second Generation Resolution Revenue Bonds. So what I'm going to do is ask for a motion and a second, and then I'm going to explain the context of the 3 items, 2, 3, and 4 together, which are the financing plan, because they all kind of hang together, rather than just give you the technical language. Then we'll go back and we can adopt each of the resolutions. So given that, for resolution number 2, could I get a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Okay, great. So, so what we're doing here is 2 things. One is, if you recall, on what we call new money, when we do our non-EFC financings, we take advantage of the yield curve and the fact that the Feds just started raising interest rates, and so interest rates have been at 10 basis points, 20 basis points. Although we've been doing this for quite some time, even before rates were this low, we issue commercial paper, and we get all the paperwork, including the DEP paperwork, and then we take advantage of the low interest rates for a period of time, months, and then we permanently finance. So here on EFC, the new program we have is that the equivalent to the commercial paper is a bond anticipation note, also short-term financing. We issued it in 2015. They provided that bond anticipation note to us in 2015. Sonnet tells me it was 10 basis points, so very low, very advantageous, very good. And so then we, as is the case with the water new money, which isn't really new money because we've already issued the commercial paper and we're doing permanent financing for the commercial paper at long-term rates. Here we're doing, as the first part of our 2-part financing plan now, we are doing permanent financing, taking out the bond anticipation note. So we're replacing the 10 basis points with a long-term rate like 3.5%. So that's number 1. So in a sense, it's new money, but of course it's not really new money because we did an interim financing and then we're permanently financing it. The other 2 pieces, the other piece, which is in 2 parts, is a refinancing of some previous EFC bonds that were issued in 2005, 6, and 7, so 10 years ago. Under the old EFC program with us, where they subsidized our interest rates. They issued debt, we issued debt to them, and then they kind of reduced our cost in half. That was called the mirror bond program. So now we have some of those outstanding from 10 years ago, and we are going to do a refinancing of them. It's in 2 pieces. One is tax exempt, one is taxable, which is to say that the bonds that they issue to the public are tax exempt or taxable, and then we issue bonds to them. And the only reason for taxable versus tax exempt, I don't know if we've ever done taxable before, but it was very unusual. I always tell people we'd never do taxable. Why would we do taxable water? Well, the reason is that we're preserving, under the federal tax rules, the advantageous investment on the corpus of the money that the EFC has gotten from the feds and the state, and they invest that money. So some of this refinancing has to be in 2 parts, tax exempt and taxable, to preserve that advantageous rate. So it's all good. So that sounds complicated enough, but it's divided among these 3 resolutions in an unexpected way. Resolution number 2 is for, so I didn't say, when we did the ban with EFC in 2015, it was $600 million. So half of that takeout is in this number 2 resolution, $300 million. Of the expected issuance of 594 is for the ban takeout. The other half of the expected 594 is for the tax-exempt refinancing. So both of those two pieces are in the first of these resolutions, Resolution 2, and then we have two other resolutions for the other two pieces. So I think I went slow enough, but we can go through it if anyone wants a better explanation. Expected issuance under Resolution 2 is $600 million, half and half for the band takeout and half for the tax-exempt refinancing. Not to exceed $700 million, expected TIC is 3.5, and not to exceed 4.5, expected is 2.4. So that's kind of what rates are currently, is about 3.5. Expected pricing date is March 21st, which is next week, right? Expected closing date is April 13th. And now I'm supposed to say, are there any questions or comments? I'm sorry, it is complicated, but it's all to get the lowest rate in the combination with EFC. So if not, we've had a motion and a second, and if there are no questions, is there any opposition to approving this first of our three resolutions? I'm not hearing any, it's adopted. All right, Resolution 3, and there are a lot of words here. Approval of the supplemental resolution 126. The first one was 125. Authorizing the issuance of fiscal 2017 Series 4 Water and Sewer System Second General Resolution Revenue Bonds. Motion and a second, and this one's easier to explain, so motion and a second, then I'll explain it.
So moved. Second.
Okay. So here, this is the other half of the bond, the band takeout, the other 300 to take out the 600 million of bands. And where under this new program, it's advantageous to us because EFC subsidizes the principal payments. The old days, they subsidized interest, now they're subsidizing principal. They're kind of paying themselves as we go through time. So it's a good program. And expected issuance is 273 million, almost 300 to refinance the other half of the 600, not to exceed 375. Expected TIC here is a little bit higher, 3.7 versus 3.4, and not to exceed 4.5. The expected closing date is April 13th, 2017, and I think that's it. So this is the other half of our band takeout to permanently lock in the permanent financing going forward with the FC. Any questions? And any objection to the resolution? Not hearing any, it's adopted. And number 4 is also much easier to explain than the first one. And it's we need a resolution, motion and a second for a resolution approval of the supplemental resolution 127 authorizing 25, 126, this is 127, the issuance of fiscal 2017 Series 5 Water and Sewer System Second General Resolution Revenue Bond. So we have a second motion and a second. I'll give you the explanation for this last piece.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Said that the refinancing of the EFC bonds that were issued 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 12 years ago is in two pieces, tax exempt and taxable. It's roughly $700 million of bonds in total. This is the taxable piece for tax reasons only relating to preserving their investment rate on their corpus. And that's it. This is the taxable piece. Expected issuance is 415 of the 700 we're going to be refinancing, not to exceed 500 million. The expected TIC is 3.3%, not to exceed 4.5%. Expected pricing date is April 6th. Expected closing date is April 13th. And I'm sure you appreciate doing all this in advance. I just want to have our crowd take credit for doing this, trying to minimize the meetings, particularly since we have to add a meeting at the end of this month, which I'll explain in a minute. But in any event, so this is the remaining amount of the refunding of the 10-year-old EFC bonds. Any questions? Any opposition to approving the resolution? Not hearing any. This is the Finance Committee, of course. I think I may have said Board of Directors. So all of those were recommendations to the Board of Directors. And any other business for the Finance Committee? Not hearing any motion in the second to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we're adjourned.